Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Absolutely.
We love to take these deep dives into some really fascinating topics,
Would you?
and today is no exception.
Oh, no.
We're going to be talking about something that I think is so important
Okay.
and so relevant no matter where you are in life,
Yeah.
um, and that is godly leadership.
Mm.
Now, you hear leadership and you might think, oh, you know,
Corporate.
yeah, big CEO,
Or office.
yeah,
Yeah.
corner office, making all the big decisions.
Right.
But that's not what we're talking about
No,
here.
no, no.
We're talking about something so much deeper.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at some excerpts from Encouragement for Godly Leadership,
That's a good one.
which is really thought-provoking text
It is.
that challenges us to really think about what it means to lead, like Christ led,
Yeah.
you know?
To be a servant leader.
Exactly, servant leadership. So we're going to be exploring what that looks like, not just, in some big, grand way,
Mm-hmm.
but in our everyday lives.
Yeah. How do we apply this practically in the day-to-day?
So are you ready?
I am.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay. So right off the bat, this text, it
Yeah.
jumps right into this idea of servant leadership.
Yeah.
And it really struck me because how often do we equate leadership with serving?
Right. It's usually about
It's about power
power.
and climbing the ladder,
Yeah. Taking charge.
taking charge, exactly. But this text is like, whoa, hold up,
It flips the script.
flips the script.
Yeah.
It's about being a servant first
It is.
and a leader second.
It uses really powerful imagery.
It does.
Connecting it to the act of washing feet,
Oh, yeah.
the ultimate act of humility.
Wow.
And it points out, in biblical times, foot washing was done by the lowest servant.
Wow.
And Christ, the King of Kings, chose that role.
Powerful.
It really reframes everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes you think about leadership in a whole new light.
It does.
So we get that servant leadership is important,
Mhm.
but how do we actually apply that?
Like in a practical sense.
In a practical sense, right?
Right.
Like I'm a teacher.
Okay.
So what does that look like in my classroom?
Sure.
Or, if you're a manager at a company,
Mhm.
what does that look like?
The text gives us some really practical examples.
Okay, good.
Talks about like a leader who notices that a team member is struggling,
Okay.
maybe silently even, and instead of piling on more work,
Right.
offers support, maybe even takes on some of their burden.
Wow.
That's servant leadership in action.
That is putting it into practice.
It is.
I like that. Okay, so we've got the serving part down, but the source also talks about this idea of relying on God's wisdom.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, sometimes that feels a little
It's a little mystical.
Yeah,
it's
like
hard.
how do we
How do we actually do that?
do that, like day to day?
Day to day, yeah.
The text doesn't leave us hanging.
Okay, good.
It emphasizes prayer,
Okay,
yes,
of course.
but also being in tune with what's happening,
around it.
like being present.
Being present, yeah. It talks about interpreting circumstances.
Mhm.
Like, did that door just slam shut on a project?
Okay.
Or did a new opportunity just open up? That might be God guiding us.
You know what, I like that? Because it's so easy to get caught up in our own plans
It is.
and our own ideas and to forget to look for those signs.
Mm-hmm.
That may be God's trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's way more concrete than, waiting for a booming voice from heaven.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not just sitting here waiting for a sign to fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
It's about paying attention to what's already happening.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're being servants, we're seeking God's wisdom. But leadership isn't always easy,
No,
right?
it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So how does this whole godly approach play out when things get tough?
Mm.
When we face conflict?
Well, the text mentions leading with compassion,
Oh.
even in the face of conflict.
Mm.
And it links it directly to forgiveness, mirroring God's forgiveness of us.
Powerful.
It encourages us to seek reconciliation, which, might mean having some difficult conversations.
Right. It might not be easy,
It might not be easy.
but doing so with a heart of love.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not about avoiding conflict.
Right.
It's about approaching it
Mm.
with the right attitude
With the right attitude, with love and
and
compassion.
with love and compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something we can all apply in our lives,
In all areas of our life.
whether we're leading a team or
Mhm.
a family or even just ourselves,
Mm. It's about the inner transformation.
That's a good point.
Mm.
Because the text also emphasizes that true lasting change in others comes from the inside out.
Yes.
So it's not about forcing people to do things our way.
No.
It's about inspiring them to want to grow.
To want to change, to want to be better.
Exactly. To be better. Yeah. I love that. So it's like godly leadership. It's not a checklist. It's not like a 5-step program.
Right.
It's a way of being.
It is.
It's a way of approaching every interaction. Whether you're, like I said, leading a company or just leading yourself.
Yeah.
This has been so eye-opening for me.
It's a lifelong journey. It really is.
Yeah, it's not something we achieve and then we're done.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process
Absolutely.
of growth and learning. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
If God is calling you to lead, in whatever capacity that might be, what's one area where you can invite his guidance more actively?
That's a good question.
Is it, seeking his voice in Scripture before making a big decision? Or is it choosing compassion over control in a challenging relationship?
Yeah, it's powerful.
That's the real deep dive, isn't it?
It is.
It's taking these principles and putting them into practice.
In our lives.
In our lives.
That's where the real transformation happens.
I think so, too. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into godly leadership.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.